Welcome to the Michigan Football Report. It is Wednesday, May 16th, 2018, 5 o'clock in the East, 2 o'clock if you're watching out in California. I am the Michigan Football Insider, the king of Michigan football, James Yoder. Go ahead and follow me at James T. Yoder. Also, go ahead and look up the Michigan Football Report with James Yoder on Facebook. Brand new page. I'm putting all my juicy gossip during the week in between shows on that page. Got 12 rumors for you today. Let's get it going with number one, and this is on the quarterback front, the playbook front. Will Shea Patterson be the only quarterback who has the opportunity to run an RPO and run-pass option in 2018? I am giving this one a 4 Harbaugh-head, folks. F-A-C-K. And so what is the RPO? The RPO is a little bit of a misnomer. People don't really know what exactly it is. I think there's a lot of fake news out there on RPO. An RPO is not the quarterback to run or pass. The RPO is the quarterback in shotgun. He hands off in more of a spread option form or pulls it back and hits a quarterback on a slant option. If that second option, the pass, is not available, the quarterback could eventually scramble, hit another wide receiver. But in the grand scheme of things, after spring practice, if Shea Patterson is the starting quarterback or he's not, he will be the only one that will have those plays at his disposal because of his scrambling ability to get out to the pocket, but more importantly, to make decisions quickly that Joe Milton, the freshman quarterback, but more importantly, Brandon Peters and Dylan McCaffrey did not show the talent to do this spring practice. So if Michigan's running the RPO, which Jim Harbaugh has talked about since the Eagles had all that success during the 2017 playoffs into the Super Bowl this year, he talked about how he wanted to implement it this year. Shea Patterson's going to be the guy. He's got a dozen or so plays that he will have a playbook for this summer that Michigan will go into fall camp first week of August ready to implement, ready to make a part of their offense and to break out during the opener versus Notre Dame. All right, on to rumor number 2. This is the biggest story people keep asking me about. Joe Milton. I was skeptical of Joe Milton, but is he going to play in 2018? I can only give it a 2 Harbaugh-head at this point. People are talking, but I am leaning towards a 3 Harbaugh-head on Joe Milton. Let's talk about what the story is right here. So Joe Milton came in mid-year in January, enrolled early. He's only still supposed to be in high school. He wouldn't officially graduate for about another 4 weeks from his high school, but he came in a physical specimen. His issues as a high school player were all around accuracy, but he says he can throw the ball 85 yards. He told some reporters that when he was over in Europe for the France trip over the last couple weeks. I don't necessarily know if I believe that, but if he says he can throw it 85, we're probably going to see one of the stronger arms we've seen out of a Michigan quarterback. So why might Milton play in 2018? There are a couple reasons that you need to think about here. Number one, it is becoming more and more likely, whether Shea Patterson is the greatest season in Michigan history or just a all-conference level season, that he is a one-and-done player at Michigan. Patterson has identified, wanting to go after his third year into the draft next year. As such, if Joe Milton is likely to be the starter in 2019, Michigan wants to get him playing time. They don't want to be in a situation where they have 3 guys in 2019, all with no playing time again, or the starter, if it turns out to be Milton, coming off a redshirt year. So that's really the reason that Milton, if redshirts didn't exist, or if everybody got 5 years to play potentially, there is a very strong chance he would be your backup quarterback no matter what. The thought was that he potentially would redshirt no matter what, because why play him when you've got a redshirt sophomore in Peters, a redshirt freshman in McCaffrey? Why not bench him? The reason is Shea Patterson's likely only a one and done, and they want to prepare him for 2019 to likely be the starter. Brandon Peters, Dylan McCaffrey not showing as much promise, especially when they were true freshmen. Obviously, Milton still has to grow and develop from here, but keep an eye on this one. I think we're going to hear a lot over the summer of the work Milton puts in with the receivers, how he adapts the playbook, and if he is the number 2 quarterback and if Shea Patterson is doing well, I think you can see Joe Milton have a package of 5 or 6 plays where he gets in nearly every game in 2018. All right, on to rumor number 3. Will Brandon Peters stay in 2018 no matter what? So this is just a really interesting one because it kind of goes a little bit against what the line of thinking was just a couple weeks back. So I'm giving this one a 3 Harbaugh heads. Pretty likely he's going to stay. So why would he stay? The story came out when Joe Burrow, Ohio State's redshirt junior quarterback, decided to transfer last week. graduated in 3 years, had come into Ohio State early, graduated in 3.5 years if you really want to get technical on it, and that's the same as Brandon Peters. So Peters is on target to graduate in spring of 2019, just a little less than 1 year from now. So if he were to graduate then and play this year, it would be the same as if he transferred now, went to another school. He would still have 2 years of eligibility. So why not stick around Michigan, even if they're the third stringer or maybe the fourth string quarterback, because you get your degree and still would be the same situation where you can play in 2019 and 2020 as a grad transfer versus transferring now or this summer before fall camp, having to sit out 2018, not graduate from Michigan, and have to enroll somewhere, sit out 19, 18, and play in 19 and 20. Either way, he'll play in 19 and 20 somewhere else. I think it is very likely that'll happen if he is not at least the backup quarterback. If Milton or McCaffrey are ahead of him at the end of the 2018 season, I think you're going to see him go through spring practice in 2019, graduate in spring of 19, and then head to another school where you have the opportunity to start in 19 and 20, more likely a lower level, a MAC school, something like that. I don't think as a third or fourth string quarterback at Michigan, he would go somewhere like, Burrows would have the options of Nebraska or Florida or LSU. So that is the story with Brandon Peters. One to keep an eye out all year, see what he does in his future. I am James T. Yoder. I am the king of Michigan football media. I am all over Twitter these days. Now I'm all over Facebook with my own Facebook page, giving you all kinds of information. Go ahead and give me a follow today if you like this video. I want to thank everybody watching on Facebook Live. I want to thank everybody watching on YouTube. Let's talk about this rumor-o-meter, the Harbaugh-heads. What do they mean? People on YouTube love them. 0 Harbaughs, totally false. Fake news. If you see 1 Harbaugh head, small shred of truth. 2 Harbaugh heads, people are talking 50-50. 3 Harbaugh heads means it's pretty likely. And if we give it the 4 Harbaugh heads, folks, that means it is F-A-C-K, fact. That's how Jim Harbaugh spells it. That's how we spell it here at Chat Sports. Speaking of Jim Harbaugh, number 4 on our rumors roundup, is Jim Harbaugh going to get that hip surgery that we talked about back in January? Is that kind of some of the reason he's showing a little bit less fire? He's having hip injury. You notice he walks with a slight limp. If you watch the Amazon documentary, you definitely notice he walked with a slight limp, especially behind the scenes. We are giving this a 3 Harbaugh heads. It is not going to happen. If it would have happened, it would have happened directly when they got back from the spring, from the trip over to Paris, which is over a week ago now. So as this point, it is looking pretty likely from the source I talked to that he has been treating it, seeking medical, non-surgical procedures to get his hip better. Obviously an old football injury that's causing him a lot of pain, especially when he's on his feet, as many as 10 or 12 hours a day, on the practice field, on the game field, whatever it is. So Jim Harbaugh is not going to get the hip surgery this offseason. I think we're going to have another year of potential speculation if he decides to get that surgery. It would most likely be after a trip to what looks like it'll be South Africa after the 2018 season, spring of 2019. We see Harbaugh's record there over his 3 years at Michigan. So no surgery most likely for Jim Harbaugh this offseason. Let's get on to rumor number 5. Is Michigan-Ohio State slated to be played on Fox again? I know a lot of Michigan fans, myself included, were not happy with this one at all when it was on Fox last year. We didn't think they had the production quality. We didn't think they had the announcers that knew the rivalry, knew the history. This one, though, folks, is F-A-C-K. Won't expect it to be announced maybe for a few weeks, potentially even into midsummer when the networks release their fall schedules. But I have heard from a very good source that this is how it's going down. Fox gets their pick. They're going to get the Michigan-Ohio State game. It will be a noon game, so nothing's going to change there. There was some rumors last year that Fox would try and use their influence and their ownership of the half ownership of the Big Ten Network to push Michigan-Ohio State for the first time into prime time. But in 2019, this will be in Columbus, a noon game, so no time change there. But look for that game to be on Fox. And if you are a Big Ten and Michigan football purist, I think it is a little bit of a blow to the gut that you have to watch the Michigan-Ohio State game on a little bit lesser network. So that is the story there. Let's go on to rumor number 6. Big time news. I think we're going to have a rumor that's going to really tell you a little more about this here coming up. But Notre Dame starting running back is going to miss the Michigan game. I'm giving this one 3 Harbaugh heads, folks. It is as close to 4 Harbaugh heads as we can get, but I don't have a great Notre Dame source. I've just got a couple of decent ones, and I've got a couple good sources on the Michigan side that says he's failed multiple, I think it's maybe a drug test. I don't want to go ahead and put that out there necessarily, but he has had multiple violations of team rules, and they're going to suspend him for the first 4 games of the 2018 season, which will include the game versus Michigan, the opener on September 1st in South Bend. So if Michigan does not, if this player, Dexter Williams, does not play in that game, which looks very likely, that's another running back. They already lost their starting running back from 2018 or 17, went to the NFL early. Now the guy replacing him is going to be out. Notre Dame is losing so much on offense, so much on defense, lost the defensive coordinator. This is a team with a lot of young talent at home on at a night game. They've got a lot of advantages there, but I think this is playing more and more like this is a big win for the Michigan Wolverines. So with that, I want to ask you guys a question. Will Michigan win the opener at Notre Dame on September 1st? It's going to be a 7:30 Eastern start on NBC. I think this is looking more and more likely that Michigan will win this game as long as Shea Patterson can execute the Michigan offense and there isn't a monsoon or something like that, like you saw the Michigan State game last year. I am predicting right now that Michigan will win this game something along the lines of 24-14, 13. I don't necessarily see this Notre Dame offense being able to score on what will be likely the best Michigan defense we've seen in 20 years, maybe longer. So I've got Michigan winning by 10 to 14 points in this one as we sit today, but want to hear more about how Shea Patterson progresses over the summer before I make any definitive predictions. Let's go on to rumor number 7. It's summer. All anybody wants to talk to is transfers because that's what we can do in the summer for Michigan football is speculate, and Michigan is over the scholarship limit, so something's got to give this offseason. People are talking on this one to Harbaugh-heads. I've gotten in some trouble in this in the past. I think when you put stuff out there that talks about a young man's future, a lot of times it's not something that they want out there until they want to announce it. So I hate speculation on that, but I've seen this enough places. This is a rumors roundup. My job is not to create the rumors. It is to validate them one way or the other. All I can say is people are talking on this one. Want to go and tell you who is being speculated. These are people are talking. Those people are internet folks. Some sources I have, not necessarily coming from James Yoder. I'm not speculating any of these guys are transferring. I am just telling you who is being discussed, who is being projected might leave. We heard one wide receiver is likely to leave. Kakoa Crawford, Eddie McDoom, both going into their third year. Both guys that were been passed up by at least 4 players that are younger than them. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Tariq Black, Oliver Martin, and some others. So those players likely to be way down the depth chart, much more than they thought they would be going into their third year. Kakoa Crawford, last year started the season as a starting running back. Running back, Kareem Walker, where I stand in his status with the team and him. He was off the team for a while, got to practice, limited amount, but people are saying that, he's gone for sure. Kurt Taylor, not necessarily the talent level that Michigan thought he would coming in. Omari Samuels didn't play last year as a freshman, not necessarily fitting in well from what I've heard, but don't have any direct contacts there. Let's go on to these last 4 players. Strictly speculation except for the second one. Nolan Alizio, redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior offensive lineman, way back in the depth chart. This next one, I feel pretty likely is going to transfer. Tyrone Wheatley Jr. Going in his 4th year on Michigan's campus. His dad's no longer on Michigan's staff, and his dad and Harbaugh had kind of a falling out. He's at least 3rd, maybe 4th in the depth chart at tight end, whereas as a redshirt freshman 2 years ago, he might have been 2nd. So he has really fallen off. His production has not improved. He has not developed to the player that a lot of people thought he would coming in. Ron Johnson, the redshirt sophomore defensive lineman, and then Jamarick Woods. This is the one I'm kind of tough to see this one. I don't think he would be that great a candidate. Some people said that this is one to keep an eye out for. Also, Jalen Kelly Powell has been rumored. I don't necessarily think that's one, so I'm not going to put that on this list. Let's go on to rumor number 8. Those are guys who might be leaving, who might be coming to Michigan. Another 5-star out of the state of Georgia might be coming to Ann Arbor, and it is Myles Hinton, a 2020 5-star offensive lineman. So why is that name familiar? Of course, it's his brother Chris Hinton. Also a 5-star, 2019 5-star though, out of the state of Georgia. They are brothers, 1 year apart, both 5 stars, both beasts of human beings, and you should just really see the size of these kids. They are huge. We're going to show you some film of Myles, the 2020 brother, of what he brings to the table for the University of Michigan should he pledge to them. Now, he is only a sophomore in high school right now, 6'6", 308 pounds, projected as the number 10 in the early 2020 rankings overall player in 2020. Let's go ahead and roll this film. We've got my co-host sometimes, Lena Baum, behind the camera. It looks like that movie The Blind Side, where you're just pushing guys 15, 20 yards off the ball. Look at this play here. He pushes this guy 10, 12 yards off the ball every play. This one, again, this is amazing to see. So if Michigan holds on to his brother, of course, they still have another year till he's going to be on Michigan's campus, and keep putting the really the pressure on him to commit, I think they get these two 5-star brothers, the Hinton brothers. I have tweeted about these guys multiple times in the past couple of weeks, and they both always retweet me when I speculate that Myles may be the next player from the state of Georgia, Michigan's next 5-star to commit. So keep an eye out for this one, folks. I am really excited about the Hinton brothers. On to rumor number 9 is Cade McNamara, Michigan's quarterback commit that they stole from Notre Dame. Is he heading to the Elite 11 finals? Absolutely. He had his second tryouts in the past couple weeks, did 2 of the regionals, is one of the candidates to go, is going to the Elite 11 finals, trying to get that spot as one of the Elite 11 quarterbacks in the nation. If he does, he will go to the opening at Nike headquarters, where the best 11 kind of compete to see who's the best quarterback in 2019 class. It'll obviously be this summer, 2018 at Nike headquarters. Michigan has, their quarterbacks on the roster now are no stranger to the Elite 11 and the opening finals. 3 summers ago, Shea Patterson and Brandon Peters were both in the Elite 11. Shea was named the number 1 player overall in that quarterback class at the opening. Dylan McCaffrey the next summer was one of the Elite 11, went to the opening. But last year, Joe Milton, I guess kind of surprising based on what we said before, was selected to go to the finals, but did not qualify for the Elite, the opening, meaning he was not one of the best 11 quarterbacks. A lot of accuracy issues for Milton at his tryouts and at his Elite 11 final last year. So hopefully Michigan can get that sorted out before he's potentially a starting quarterback. I want to tell you guys about our YouTube channel. Go ahead and type in chatsports.com/YouTube Michigan. It'll drop you right onto the YouTube app if you're on mobile, drop you right onto the website if you are on your desktop. Go ahead and click that in. Michigan Football Report. All of our content lives there in addition to Facebook Live and podcasts. So go ahead and click that in right now. Number 10 is Michigan planning another Amazon series for this season. A lot of speculation because Amazon was with Michigan on this Paris trip over the past few weeks when Michigan took the football team to Paris and then to the beaches of Normandy. I'm giving this a 1 Harbaugh head, folks. I do not think it's going to happen for the 2018 season. I don't think Michigan looked that good in this documentary. I don't think many people thought it was super well done, and I actually don't think there was a ton of inside information. So I'm not sure what the goal would be for Michigan to do it again, because I'm not sure if it was super successful from this past season. But keep an eye out for this one. Jim Harbaugh was asked about it. He said maybe. He also speculated, could we get some of our players, some stock in Amazon? But nevertheless, for doing this deferred compensation for when they're out of school, maybe get a few thousand shares of Amazon stock down the line. That's what Jim Harbaugh, I guess, proposed to Amazon. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Let's go on to rumor number 11. Is a top 2019 recruit, Stephen Herron. Is he looking around still? Is he going to go to Stanford? Now, we're going to give this one a 3 Harbaugh head that he is firm to Michigan. It is very likely he's going to stick with Michigan. He has been projected to Stanford by all the recruiting gurus over the past 3 or 4 months. Stanford came in heavy, but he did an interview just this past week and said he is at an 8 or a 9 when it came to his commitment level at Michigan, and was asked, does Stanford, does Michigan fans have anything to worry about with Stanford? He said, quote, not really. I don't think so. So I think that Stephen Herron is, firm with Michigan. If he was going to commit to Stanford, I think it might have been this spring. Has nothing committed, has nothing planned for going out there for an official visit or anything like that. So Stephen Herron, Michigan's 2nd or 3rd best recruit for next year's class, is looking like he is going to stick with the Wolverines and be part of that 2019 class that'll sign in February or potentially this December if he's an early signee. So on to rumor number 12. This is our last rumor. Is Michigan a strong betting favorite against Notre Dame in the opener? Let's talk about the timeline here, because this one is what we're going to give it a 4 Harbaugh heads, I believe. This is a fact, FACK. Michigan started as a multiple point underdog when the early lines came out right after the bowl games on the road at Notre Dame. Now, why were they an underdog? Well, they're playing at Notre Dame at night. Shea Patterson was not yet eligible. So with that being said, as of when Shea Patterson was made eligible, they jumped from underdog to a favorite. And then just this week, another 2-point bump from a 1-point favorite to a 3-point favorite. Shea Patterson's part of that, and also Notre Dame's running back is being speculated not part of the roster in opening night on September 1st. He might be suspended. So with that, Michigan has jumped to a 3-point favorite. I didn't look at all the lines, but this is one of the bigger spreads I can remember for Michigan on the road at Notre Dame. So this is good news. The gamblers like Michigan, and if you're going to be on you can potentially bet this. We also saw the Supreme Court. So that is the story there. Michigan 3-point favorite at Notre Dame. I want to ask you guys to follow me on Twitter at James T. Yoder. We're going to loop this bad boy back if you missed any of it. We will see you next time. Go Blue.